Good morning, gentlemen. Today we will be talking about another important topic. We call it cognitive distortion. Earlier, in the series of personality development and SSP, we did talk about fear and ended up with talking about the phobias. This is what is going to be shown by you in the form of behavior. Next is distortion. Distortion means cognitive. Your brain gets, takes certain certain changes are there because of thought process. Okay, this is important, but this will be viewed uh, as a skew or the problem in the personality by the assessor's concern. Assessor's concern. So, what is cognitive distortion? Let's understand that first. Now, cognitive distortion is a negative or irrational pattern of thinking. Simply, ways that imposter syndrome convinces us to believe things aren't really true. Means cognitive, this imposter syndrome is a phenomenon which which gives us self-doubt. You may be the best of the person available, but you still feel you're not the best available. So there's inaccurate thought pattern. This is what happens with cognitive distortion. This reinforces negative self-perception and keep our feeling bad about ourselves. So important it is because we are not in a position to show our own original self. Okay, these cognitive negative thought patterns can play a role in diminishing our motivation, lowering our self-esteem, contributing to problems like anxiety, depression, substance abuse, and all the phenomena can come in. First is what you call all or nothing, black and white. So this world is not 0 and 1. That is available in the digital world. But world is not 0-1. There is always overlap. So it can be true or untrue. They can be in between as well. So the thinking of either an action is good or bad, it is the circumstances or the situation it plays an important role. You may have failed. That doesn't mean you will never succeed. Or if you have succeeded in an endeavor, that doesn't mean you will never fail. So now it is someone say, I always fail when I try to do something new. I fail at everything I try. So if you have failed once, that doesn't mean you will not pass. You will not do well next time. Benjamin Franklin has said that before he invented a bulb, he said people used to say he's a failure master. He said, I had found 99 ways of doing the same thing. And ultimately he succeeded. So possible solution lies in recognize the success and progress are not all or nothing concept. Hence, by replacing the self-defeating thought, one can feel better about progress and recognizing strength. Next is called overgeneralization. Overgeneralization happens when you make a rule after every one single. So you make a decision based on single event. Single event. Or it may be sometimes it may be coincidence. The word always or never are frequently appeared in our sentences. Okay. Because the word always and never appear because you have experience with one event playing out at a certain way. You assume that all future events will also follow the same course. May not be possible, or maybe by chance, maybe even possible. So you make a suggestion about, say, increased productivity that wasn't adopted in the final work. You might overgeneralize this and assume that no one listens to you or takes you seriously. I'm never comfortable around others, or I'm always messing things up. You may have messed up things once, but you keep doing it, you learn it, you know how to better organize it, you know how to succeed. So possible solution lies in use realistic language. Instead of saying, I always do that, say something like, that happens sometimes, but I will try, do better next time. Third, next phenomenon is called mental filter. What is filter? We know in technology or in electronics, we talk there are three types of filter, because high pass filter, low pass filter, and band pass filter. So depending upon mental state, we have tendency to put a filter that I will looking at only certain events. That is what a filter is. You pick out single negative detail and start dwelling onto it. There may be certain other positive things also available in any event, any exercise that you undertake in, any new adventure, or any new event you try, how you are trying to pass an examination. So there will be certain positivity also. Suppose if you prepare for an examination, it doesn't mean if you have not passed, that doesn't mean you have lost. At least by putting effort, you gain certain knowledge, which may not be applicable into that exam, but it may be useful to somewhere else. So mental filter is the opposite of overgeneralization, but with some same negative outcome. Instead of taking one small event and generalizing it inappropriately, mental filter takes one small generally negative details and focusing on it exclusively, filtering out anything else. As a result, what happens now? So example is Nathan focuses on all the negative, hurtful things that his partner has said or done in their relationship, but he filters all the kind and thoughtful things that his partner would have done or would be in a position of thinking of doing so. This thinking contributes to feeling of negativity about his partner and their relationship. It happens with our friend. At times, out of 10 times, our friend may not have done one which we have asked him. And then we start saying, he will never do my job. That's the way. So you focus on one negative comment in an otherwise positive email from your friend and people around there, and you get obsessed. No, something is going to be wrong. Okay. Possible solution lies in journalism. What's a writing? Journalism writing generally involves the practice of keeping a diary or journal that explores thoughts and feelings surrounding the events of your life. It may help you overcome this mental filtering. Make an effort to intensely shift your focus from the negative and look for more neutral or positive aspect to any situation. Okay, next, discounting the positive. We all have the tendency or to reject positive experience by insisting on don't count for some reason or other. That discounting the positive is cognitive distortion that involves ignoring or invalidating the good things that have happened to you. Suppose, as again keeping examination, you may have appeared for in 10 examination or 10 competitive examination. Say, as far as students concerned in India, someone have applied for NDA, someone have applied for engineering, someone applied NET, and all those stuff. Out of many events, you would have certainly passed a few of them. So if you have not passed probably NDA examination, written examination, that doesn't mean you are bad. It's similar to mental filtering, but instead of simply ignoring the positive, you are actively rejecting them. So now, X completes a project and receives an award for his outstanding work. Rather than feeling proud of his achievement, he attributes it to pure luck that has nothing to do with the talent and effort. No, you have done something, that's why you have been awarded. If you perform well, you tell yourself it still wasn't good enough, that you just got lucky this time or anywhere else. So that is not the solution. Solution lies in reframing how you attribute success of an event. Instead of saying positive outcome as flukes, focus on noticing how your own strength, skills, and efforts contributed to the outcome. If you won't have worked, you won't have passed an examination. You won't have completed a project. So having more faith in your ability, you will feel more empowered and less likely to experience learned helplessness. Okay. Next is what? Next is called magnification. There's Hindi में बोलता तिल का तार बनाना. It may be very small letter and you are trying to exaggerate it. So don't exaggerate. That is magnification. Okay. Magnification is exaggerating the importance of shortcomings and problem while minimizing the importance of desirable qualities. As we say, nothing is perfect in the world. It will have positive, it will have negative. If the positive outweighs the negative, so it's a positive result. So we have to think in that line. Magnifying someone else's achievement so that comparison you take, so that by comparison you look always worse. You may have done well. Someone would be subtly better than you. This world, there are millions of people are in and around. In our country, we have got 140 crores of people. I may not think that I'm the best of the person available. Someone would certainly be better than me. That doesn't mean I'm bad. So, or you inappropriately discount or minimize your own desirable qualities and another person imperfection, so that once again you are comparing that you are bad or he is bad. Similar to mental filters and discounting positive, the cognitive distortion involves magnifying your negative qualities while minimizing your positive ones. When something bad happens, you see this as a proof of your own failures. But when something good happens, you minimize that importance. Okay. So what is the focus on learning how to identify these thoughts, intention replacing it with more helpful, realistic ways of thinking. Neither til ka tar banana. Look at it what it is on ground. We always call foot on the ground. You must at the reality, what is there. If it is negative, yes, we will take it. There's no problem. We'll always try and improve it. Okay. Next is emotional reasoning. Many times in my career around there, people have told me that you think about the heart from the heart rather than head. Well, it's a balance of the two is important. You have to have a heart because it's the most honest thing, and you have to have a head as well. Emotional reasoning is a way of judging yourself or your circumstance based on your emotions. This, now imagine as a soldier, or you are gone for certain operation. One of your men or your colleague has been shot and he's lying there. Would you stop to look after him, or should you start trying for it? No. Because though emotions are there, he has been there with you since the beginning. He's one of your men. But what do you do? If you start doing that, then your whole company or whole talent or the troops you are commanding, they are going to be a jeopardy. So this type of reasoning assumes that because you are experiencing a negative emotion, it must accurately reflect reality. No. You assume that your negative emotion necessarily reflect the way things really are. If you experience feeling of guilt, emotional reasoning would lead you to conclude that you are a bad person. Research has found that distortion is common in people who have high anxiety and depression. Pushkar used emotional reasoning to conclude that he was a worthless person, which in turn led to binge eating. I feel guilty, therefore I must be a bad person. I feel sad, so I must be a bore to be around. Possible solution lies cognitive behavior therapy can help people recognize the sign of emotional reasoning and realize that feelings are not always facts. Okay, next, should and could statement, especially in SSV. When you are given SRT, there's a tendency in the people to write it, he should do this, he will do it, he could have done that. What does it mean? When you say you are attached to a certain outcome or expectation about how things should be. The should statement involves always thinking about things that you think you should or you must do. But have you done it? This is the main question. So these type of statements can make you feel worried or anxious. I should have done that. I must do this. But it is the step, it is the action which is more important rather than the thought is just on a mental head. Yes, this is the beginning, isn't it? So these types of statements can make you feel worried or anxious. They can also cause you bit of guilt, sense of guilt or sense of failure. Because you always think you should be doing things, you end up feeling that as if you are constantly failing. You are not have done, and you have not done anything better. Rita thinks that she should be able to play a song on her violin without making any mistake. When she does make a mistake, she feels angry and upset with herself. As a result, she starts to avoid practicing her violin. I should be doing something better with my time right now. Possible solution lies now. Focus on practicing self-compassion. Replace this statement with more realistic ones. Work on accepting yourself for who you are rather than what you think you should be. I should be proud of what I am. And I should concentrate and to know myself. I must know what we call insight. You must know, have your our self-awareness is more important. Okay. Next is behind this shooting and musting, they can be unrealistic expectations on ourselves, which can lead to feeling of guilt, disappointment, frustration, and failure within ourselves and create an ever perpetuating and escalating cycle of stress. They are words that hold you to a very high standard and put you under a lot of pressure. This can be exhausting and take you always from focusing on what you want to in life. Instead of saying I should go to the gym for 4 days a week, better I have a goal of going to the gym 4 days a week. Instead of saying I should eat healthy all the time, we can always say my goal is to eat healthy as much as possible. Instead, I must be on time for that appointment. Instead, I want to be on time for that appointment. So that's this distortion must be avoided. Okay. Now let's come labeling. Let me attach a negative label to yourself. I'm a loser. I'm a failure. And even if you label someone else, he's also going to be a problem. That's called labeling. We had been to one of the schools around there where a boy was labeled as a girl. And believe it or not, this is from class 6 to class 10th onward, that 11th, that they 5, 6, they say his behavior pattern also changed towards that. The labeling has got a very negative effect on the people. And if you label yourself as a loser and a failure, you can never succeed. Labeling involves making a judgment about yourself or someone else as a person, rather than seeing the behavior as something the person did that doesn't define them as an individual. You might label yourself as a failure. You can also label other people as well. You might decide that someone is a jerk because of some interaction and continue to judge them in all future interaction, though that lens with no room that leaves that is wrong. Okay, positive self combat labeling by challenging the accuracy of your assumption. Look for evidence that counters your negative thought. Remind yourself of difference between opinion and facts. And lastly, it's got personalization and brain. You hold yourself accountable for things that are beyond your control. Let's suppose you are brother, sister, father, mother, whatever you are. Something has gone wrong in your house. Someone has fallen sick. You have taken a person to the doctor, and if the doctor does whatever he can do, and if you don't succeed, you cannot blame yourself for that. Why should you blame? You have tried your best. By learning to correctly identify cognitive distortion for the myth that they are, you can begin to respond to errors in thinking by challenging them. By refuting imposed system, irrational, fear-based evolution, you can begin to course correct your self-perception so that they are accurately reflect your reality. Personalization blame is a cognitive distortion where you entirely blame yourself for something else, for a situation that in reality involves many factors that were out of control. Okay. Dipali blamed herself for her daughter's bad grade in school. How can she control? Say at best she can teach her, she can put a tutor, she can give her the books or the material that is required. If the child doesn't do well, in what way is Dipali is to be blamed? Instead of trying to find out why her daughter is struggling uh, and exploring ways to help her, you start assuming, saying that no, you are a bad mother. You blame yourself for not spending enough time at office when large project fails. So the possible solution lies in making conscious effort to consider other factors that might have played a role in that situation. Instead of blaming yourself for something that has happened, consider external factors or other people's action that might have also contributed to that factor. Okay. Now, this is what we have to talk about it. Next time, we would try and talk about ways how to get over these particular uh, distortion. There are ways that we call a coping mechanism. But understanding some of these distortions, cognitive, are important so that we are in a position to take right decision at the right time. Rather than blaming ourselves, our effort should be to progress, to move ahead. That can only happen if we understand what we are doing, why we are we are not achieving success, what are the reasons, how can we correct it. Thank you. We do hope that you liked it, and if you so like it, request you to subscribe to it, which will be helpful to many other people. Thank you.